Welcome to Alchemical Science. I'm Jordan, an open source researcher, alchemist, and a student of the inventor and vortex fusion specialist Malcolm Bendall. Today's video is a tour of the workshop of Mr. Ed Grimm in the USA. And if you haven't heard about Ed, we've done an interview with him recently. You can go back and check that out on the channel, talking all about Ed's technology and his experiences with Malcolm Bendall as well. Malcolm went and stayed with him for 2 months, and they found that they were working on very similar principles and ideas and inventions. So that's all very interesting. Ed is an ex-NASA scientist and an incredible inventor who's working on a lot of different technologies at the same time. He's also inherited the inventions of the unfortunately late Walt Jenkins, including his water-fueled buggy and scooter. So you'll see those in the clips there. There was a few things that Ed couldn't show us for very good reason, but this is the first time he's gone public and allowed people to tour his workshop and film. So this is a really amazing content. I hope you all enjoy this video.
So what we have is what's been termed the iGen, the infinity generator, as well as the 9-phase generator, the multi-phase generator, because it also functions as a 18-phase, 36-phase, depends on how much voltage you want versus amperage. But let me give you a little bit of a concept here. This all started with a guy named Joe. And Joe Shepard, is a Boeing engineer, retired Boeing engineer, that he created a artificial intelligence on the topic of power generation exclusively. And with that, he asked it, what's the best way to make power? You know, clean slate, just take it from the bottom. And this is the basic concept that it came up with. This is, you see 36 slots. You don't have T slots like you see in your average generator, so it reduces the cogging. But more significant than that is that, let me see here. Might be able to find something. This is a small rotor that goes into one of this size. But you can see in this rotor, you got 16 magnets. So compare that to other rotors of your standard power generation, be it 2, 4, 8, whatever poles. You've got a lot of transitions going on there. And the way that it interacts with the stator. See, this is the stator that I've evolved since we licensed from Joe years ago, and did some modifications and came up with some better efficiencies. This is more for manufacturing ease, and also for thermal control. Anyway, I just try to keep it so that it's comprehensible for everybody. Try to talk on a 5th grade level. I know it doesn't apply to you, or this fellow here.
It probably does, but
anyway, so by virtue of the mathematics of it, by virtue of the architecture of it, it reduces the cogging, so you don't have that basic magnetic cogging effect that gives you torque load without even pulling a load electrically. Okay, so that's the basic magic of it. And if you see here, you can take a look at these graphs. This was the original Joe design, which years ago when he came up with it, the DoD claimed this is the most efficient DC generator you can produce. And these are a couple of examples of some graphs at different ohm loads, different resistance loads. And you can see, for example, this is showing about just over 86% efficient at around 1,000 RPMs. 9 ohm load, okay? Here's another different load. So more or less the same range. It's a little better efficiency, but you still see this general efficiency curve that you're familiar with. This is what I did. So you see here, at about 500 RPMs, we're already 96% efficient, and it's flatline across there. So it's more like a diesel torque curve than a horsepower curve. And over here you see 500 RPMs with a lighter load. It has a little more curve to it, but the key thing is this applies really well to wind or water applications where you have a varied rotational speed available. So you're optimizing your output, you're optimizing your exchange for whatever you're putting into it from the wind or water or what have you, whatever you're using. You know, you can hook it up to any kind of an engine and get some good conversion. So that's the basics of that. And if you like, we can go outside and take a look at some other things. Oh, wait. Here's a live model. So this is a beta unit here, and this is built in a 9-phase architecture. So this is just a little test bench where we do free running.
Can I ask, is it purely a generator, or does it generate more output than input?
No, we're not making any.
It's just a generator, but producing a very smooth output,
right? And
it kicks into high efficiency at low revs.
Exactly, over the range entirely. Yeah. So you don't have 105% as some others have claimed, based on their either faulty.
Poor calculations, poor measurement.
Metering equipment or just their interpretations of the mathematics of the thing. But here you can see also, now let's share some FAQs with you. Here we go.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And you might find it somewhat interesting. But if you look at this, people go, well, why 9 phases? Well,
smoother output.
Here's 3 phases.
It's choppy.
You see all those drops there?
Yeah.
You know, of course, it's all converted to DC anyway, but here's 9 phases. So you get a fat output, to keep it in simple terms. And also, one of the key things that I found was, this was the scope on Joe's original design. That's why I modified the rotor, and I came up with a much more pure sine wave, much cleaner, more efficient, as you can see, dramatically. So let's take a look outside here. I'll try to keep it as efficient as possible.
Yeah, sure.
Turbine that I designed for use in third world nations where they can utilize locally sourced materials.
And old oil drums.
Exactly, locally sourced materials for making the basic components of it.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, that's an 18-phase turbine.
Right.
So one of the things that Malcolm came here for a couple of days.
A day.
He stayed for 3 months.
So this visa ran out.
Right. Oh, well, he made a couple other runs there, but I had done some testing with this device and found that at 52 degrees, I got my optimum output, and he says, well, that's 51.84 you should have had. I'm like, well, dude.
Interesting.
I'm
divide into 360.
I'm roughing it in.
Yeah.
But apparently I found the optimum angle of attack on that. And this is just a portion of the final format, which is I've had some other table test versions that I got another 40% out of it.
Wow.
You know, relative to what it was producing. It's not like these other guys are saying, well, we get 700%.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Okay.
Lovely. Get it a little bit more cleaned up after the whirlwind passed. And then,
I recognize this one.
Yeah, this is our Cosmic Summit demo model.
those are the two that need to get in the van.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, this one obviously is going to be a little taller. That one's
Right.
pretty
Well,
straight,
that's good. We got
pretty straightforward.
bigger van on the smaller van.
Yeah, that can go into Susan's van there. And yeah, this has got about a 5-foot footprint.
Yep, that's pretty big. Hopefully we can fit that.
They've got it one way today.
Yep, and the test gear is all fitting there, right? And this is the big wing. What you have here are sodium batteries. Now you've all been seeing all of the carnage from lithium. I'm sure you've seen plenty of videos of cars exploding in parking lots and
Yep.
massive shipping vessels going down because of lithium. You know, not to mention all the other detractions, but this sodium ion package here is from a company out of New Zealand. And they figured it all out, and they've got energy density. They've got everything up on it, because one of the things that a lot of folks don't realize is that with lithium, a good, 15% of the energy that you have available in the battery is used to keep the battery cool with their refrigeration systems or cooling systems, HVAC, and plus of your usable power, quote unquote, the 100% of usable power, you're only going to get 60% of that out of it, because you can't go below 35, 40%. These you can drop to nothing. No harm, no foul. They don't care about the temperature. It can be freezing. It can be hot as hell. And no worries. So we're really happy to be working with these, because the other key thing that I needed, for example, here, you see a bunch of lead acid batteries from the dark ages back there.
Yes.
With lead acid, you lose a majority of your power on your round trip efficiency. But these were some Kilowatt Labs units, and they are claimed to be super caps. I think they're mostly lithium as well. These here are a little bit better. These are from Super Cap Energy. Again, I think they've got a good portion of lithium in there, so they can claim it's graphene because they've got some in there.
Right.
But
Or maybe they're just using them for electrodes.
who's to say exactly what the architecture is? It's proprietary.
Yeah.
So, but the key thing is, here you see this is a parallel system. It's got 48 volts. That's a 240 split phase inverter, so it doesn't care. It can take that 48 volts or 50 volts, right? But if you want 3-phase power, like in this inverter over here,
If you pass.
you need some voltage. So with this system here, we got about 450, 500 volt system.
Yeah.
So it can just chop that into 3-phase for you.
Do you mind me asking how much is one of these batteries?
I don't deal with the finances.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They keep that off my plate so that I don't pull my hair out.
You lucky bastard.
But your average, I think, is somewhere, for batteries like this, is $3 to $4 grand a piece.
Yeah.
But eventually they do pay for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you all have seen any of Stephen Greer's Lost Century film.
I haven't, but I've heard that he showed your least exciting invention, which is still very exciting.
He just showed me driving around on this water scooter here.
Just a water scooter. Simple water scooter.
Sophisticated and highly erudite conversations in the boardroom there.
Yeah.
None of that made it to the editing table.
Yeah.
It's just Ed goofing around on the scooter. This one.
It's pretty cool. So this is 95% run on water, 5% on fuel, or is this?
I'll make no claims.
Okay, yeah.
I'll make no claims there. This is the Walt Jenkins technology, and Walter, I'd helped him for years. Never asked him for a penny. I just backed him up, and he got the claim. This NASA scientist was evaluating his stuff, so I thought that was pretty keen. But when it came time when he had a bad accident, ended up in the hospital, and knew it was done.
Yeah.
So he turned it over to me. So we're trying to push it forward, but the key thing is, when Malcolm showed up with his technology, I looked at his technology and how it's done.
It's quite similar in some respect.
The parallels are stunning, which you'll find that throughout nature with any kind of a biomimicry type of a technology.
Yeah.
It's based on nature
You can make
behavior.
the same conclusions.
Different people see nature doing different things, but it comes down to the same.
Interpretation.
Comes down to the same, manifestation or phenomena.
Yeah.
So if you're sharp, you see the phenomena. If you can figure out how it's doing what it's doing, you can translate that into something useful. So we're just trying to back up Walter's original investors, which were the 3 Fs, the friends, families, and fools, so forth. So trying to help them out and get an exchange, and that way Malcolm benefits from this. They benefit from it. We'll see. It's
Because he's got like about 10 more years to run on the patent, right?
Right.
So, and often patents never get value out of that initial 20 years.
Right.
So it's work hard and deliver now, right?
Craggy. Yeah.
Hmm.
Absolutely. But this is also Walt's setup here. He had little fans on the front that he was harvesting a little bit of energy from. He had a solar panel on there, and again, the parallels. I mean, I had a little Volkswagen engine back in 1991 running on just my first simple electrolyzer that I made out of a battery. I just cleaned out a battery and reversed everything on it and made an electrolyzer and had a vapor carburetor. But we've all studied Jules Verne to some degree. Yeah. So, not sure if you all remember a fellow named Benny Coyne.
Sorry, can I ask on the water powered car if it meant to be doing more miles than it should, or if it just running on water and self-regeneration, or what? What is the claim?
Yeah. Not going to go there right now.
Okay. Okay. No.
Right now, because really, the truth be told, Walter, at the point of, at the end, for so many years, he had been so restrained and kept everything close to the vest that when he wanted to actually interchange and exchange the concepts, he had a hard time with it. So
Right.
I recorded some videos, but it really takes a team. So hopefully I can generate a group activity here that will provide us with the necessity to evolve it to where it could be or where it should be.
Right.
But the key thing that he found was a means to extract energy with a minimum of input, because I've been making electrolyzers since the early 90s, and I have 2 different hydrogen companies.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody says, that when they first saw that Volkswagen that I had running all of it, they're like, wow, it's going to be this, it's fantastic, And they all ended with the same wow, which is, wow, you're a dead man. You can't do this, it's going to be unauthorized. So that's why I backed off, and when I went to work for NASA, I started creating my own boosters, but just boosters,
Yeah.
because 20 or 30%, you're okay, you're under the radar. You're not doing anything that's stepping on too many people's feet.
Yeah.
So,
Is a part like RF like Kansas frequency, or are you using like the lasers, or what is it?
no.
Sound?
You can look at Walter's patents if you like.
Oh no, I've read the whole pattern in detail. Yeah.
Right.
So he's using ultrasound so there's sound in there. He's also using ionizing UV. He's using misters.
Mostly pond fog.
Yeah, pond foggers. Yes,
Mostly
yeah,
pond fog.
yeah.
And it's not as complicated as you might think.
Yeah, that's essentially what's the guy we had the weights on the side and it blew up when he did a spark discharge into pond fog.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, so there was a guy at Stanford who replicated the experiments. Who am I thinking of? Oh my god, can't remember. But they were recording a lot more out, and I met the experiments were done in Canada and Toronto to try and verify it. But yeah, it's the pond fog explosions type.
Right. It's of all of the different. You've got so many different forms of hydrogen. You got monatomic, diatomic, of different forms, deuterium, tritium, etc. And certain things that you're not supposed to touch. You're not supposed to fiddle with that stuff. But
Well, it's interesting you say that because I went and visited in 2019 Dr. Roy Shinamaza in Japan.
cool. Wow.
And he said I said, look, there's people that want to buy it. There was a group who later revealed themselves as military because they said they were going to kill. They were discussing whether to kill me, but they decided not because they were using the research.
It's a good day for you.
Yeah, so that was okay. So I'm okay as long as I keep talking. But they were ready to take a private jet to the local airport and pay whatever he wanted to take a unit away. And he says, I'm not going to sell it to any Americans. And then he then told me the reason why. He says, because there's a secret hidden group globally that don't want anyone to know about the properties of atomic hydrogen.
Right, right.
And this is from a guy who's spent a good proportion of his life, had certificates from the emperor, lots and lots of patents. He knew everyone and anyone. And he said that they really are serious. So I can understand where you're coming from with your
I
poetry.
can tell you that unequivocally, after 3 decades of playing in this field and producing products and items that work, I've found the simplest form of conversion. Absurd. No cost, basically. No cost. And yeah, I've stored the dead. Yeah, I've got a dead man switch. It's all set up, but it's still ahead of its time. But I'm really looking forward to the day that can be produced, because brutally simplistic. And again, you see these nature parallels in what Bendel's doing here. You know. So anyway, let's take a look at Denny Klein. Denny Klein was the guy that was on Fox News for years, and all part of the HHO revolution. And his company created these welders. You know,
It's like a Brown's gas.
Yule Brown.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody wants to name it after themselves. Brown's gas, Klein's gas. But the Germans back in WW2 were using it as null gas.
Null gas.
Right. But Denny, he got famous on that, and then he kind of disappeared off the scene. So everybody's like, "Oh, he must have been sucked up by the DOD or something like that." But turns out he just had prostate cancer, so he was off the scene for a while. He showed up again and found me at an expo and said, "I like the products you're producing. I want to white label it." So sent his CEO around, blah blah blah. Few weeks, few months of back and forth. The day he was supposed to come and sign the white label agreement, I get a call. It's his phone number. It's his son, though. And he's not in town. He's in town because Dad's dead. Apparently, he fell down 2 steps and bashed his head open. Apparently. Anyway, so the thing about Denny was he was kind of, you remember that old song, Papa Was a Rolling Stone?
Yeah.
The only thing he left us was alone. He didn't leave him anything, so.
Wherever he let his cat, he was his own or something.
Yeah, so I gave Greg a little bit of money for this. This is Denny's personally, and I figure someday it might be part of a museum or something.
We actually have on loan a Yule Brown BN 2000. It's up in Minnesota at the moment.
Wow.
It's
That's a historical piece.
Yeah, so we're partly deconstructing. We have a 1-year window, but we lost 3 years because of COVID, and we had it for 5 years. But I've just spoken to the owner a couple of weeks ago, and he's going to give us another year.
What's the end goal there?
The end goal is we're going to redo the electronics completely. So we've got the guys in IEEE, brilliant engineer. So he's remastering the electronics with modern electronics. But there was a problem with that unit. It used very high, inefficient transformer.
Right.
And so maybe you could have a view on the type of transformer that would be suitable to replace the kind of transformers they had in there.
We manufacture modulators here for.
Okay, well, great. So you're the right guy to talk to. So, and the idea was to kind of like open that technology up. But having seen that, once we get it working, we want to see if we can do the same element synthesis that we've done with Royce at Mars's testing, where we're synthesizing different elements and the potential for the radiation remediation and stuff. Because we proposed to Fukushima and they changed the rules because they said that actually we don't want to get rid of the tritium, we just want to concentrate it or dump it at sea. So once we provided them with a solution, they didn't
That
want
was
to
a
know.
real friendly thing they did there.
Yes, right.
Fucking brilliant.
Just like a quick little story. All those years that Yule Brown was running around the world promoting, there was a guy called Spiros back in Sydney in the workshop building all of those. And I worked with Spiros for about 15 years. Unfortunately, he passed away about 2 years ago. We had all sorts of plans for HHO.
It's amazing the amount of lost technology due to non-application and the passing of the person that has the tribal knowledge.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a big
So,
problem.
again, you know, I'd like to reach out to the community if anybody's interested in helping out with the Walter Tech evolution as it crosses over here now with the Bendel Tech. That'd be
Has that been running, that car? Has it been running?
we just hauled it out of storage, so.
So I'm supporting the setting up of a distributed autonomous organization, which is being funded by crypto.
Cool.
And the idea is that everything's published into the blockchain. So whoever dies, it doesn't really matter other than it's very sad and sad for their family.
Sure,
but the information of any experiments is actually locked into the blockchain. And we're actually hosting the site and all of the communication, and it will automatically publish papers into its own journal on the blockchain for people to learn any particular technology. So it depends which way you want to go. And the idea is that we have a whole series of technologies that we want to create minimum viable products for.
Good.
And they're all open so that then it's in the public domain. People can download the parametric files, create their own versions from a contract manufacturer, that no one needs to have any skill to do the minimum viable product. But from there, it's off to the races for anyone like yourself to develop better versions with their own intellect and to build on that. So if you're interested, I can fill you in. It's in the process of being set up.
The key concept there is having somebody that's kind of a quality control kind of guy that can maintain the purity, because when you have a lot of in-feed of perspectives, a lot of it ends up being just distraction.
I agree. So I'd encourage you. I think we've got our next open meeting. I can give you the link. It's on next week on the, I think the 3rd or 4th or something. It's like on the 5th, I think, maybe.
Cool.
And it's an open Zoom call. You can be on that Zoom call, and maybe there's some technologies that you think would be the right way to get them out there.
Awesome.
And then there's a lot of people then that can pitch in and do tests and stuff. So
That's key, because you know the whole thing is duplication,
yeah,
as we all know.
Yeah.
A lot of these technologies have future, have application, have usefulness, but the ability of the inventor to translate that into something that is replicatable on any hand, which is really great. I mean, Malcolm's now.
that's what I like about Malcolm's.
Cardic already has it operating there in India,
Yeah.
and so forth. And I've
Yeah.
been through it with these, and once you see that transition point inside, you know, between the two spheres, once you see that, call it what you want, the 0 point, call it, you know, event horizon, call it buttermilk. I don't care what you want to call it. See that thing change. And you see the power that's being generated there because of the crashing of these magnetic fields. And that, you can't unsee that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a couple of other technologies that have evolved as well that have been tested by, what is it, those ISO 9001 master black belt dudes and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, this beats everything going, so you can't produce it. Yeah. But yeah, we've you know, for years I've been making these booster systems, and we've got some on these 3,000 horsepower trucks down in the mines in South America. And I was working with a variety of different engineers, electronics engineers, looking for the optimum modulators, and I found them. And when he wanted to sell out, I bought him out. So we're now producing those modulators, and that's what we have here. A variety of the boards. We do the assembly here. We test them. These are good for 100 amps, you know, for your booster systems. But
This is if you get stuck in a hole, you can get out of it. It's not for permanent use in the engine, right? Or
right. No, well, it's just for efficiency and, you know, emissions benefits. You know, primarily, you get a lot of emissions benefits. And you know, down in South America, they've got a lot of issues with carbon. You know, loads of carbon. And yeah, there's some stuff I wish I could show you, but
yeah.
Anyway, better days are coming.
We'll put the cameras away if you want to show us.
Yeah. Well, once the cameras are down, I'll show you. At least I'll show you a video so you can get something two-dimensional.
Cool.
You know. But you know, everybody's trying to evolve these little guys here. And for a demonstrator, what Malcolm's got created here is real good just to demonstrate. But really, I mean, the low-hanging fruit really is those old generators, old diesel generators that are a megawatt or better. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's your time putting a bunch of units on these little households.
Yes, yes.
When you can have something that's continuous run. And that's what's going on in England now. Right?
Yeah.
So it's wonderful. Wonderful. Anyway, that's the basics. I'm sure we could delve more, but I know you guys have more important things to talk about. And I'll show you a little bit of something as the cherry on top.
Okay.
I'm not sure we do have more important things to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, little extra piece there regarding the crossover of Walt Jenkins and Malcolm. I don't know if you've ever seen this video of Walt Jenkins where he's talking about his inspiration to evolve the technology, and the basic of it was the island, Anna Maria Island down here south by Sarasota. Watching the storms rolling and then watching the thunderstorms roll. You got the concept, you know.
Of course.
And you know, years ago, I started tracking with these guys, the suspicious observers.
Yeah.
Group of scientists, brilliant guys.
Yeah.
Ben Davison, yeah, brilliant guys. You know, they're really seeking truth and understanding. And with that, I came to realize that everything that you see as weather, you know, a front, a tornado, a hurricane, they're all magnetic phenomena.
Okay.
Right? So if you look, you know, and you compare that to what Walter was talking about regarding, you know, these bolts of lightning coming through the clouds, you know, and if you break it down, you know, you could take iron and you could put a torch on it and nothing happens, but if you file it down to minute particles, it'll actually burn. You know, so it's really a matter of the size of the material, and because a cloud is such a fine mist, it dissociates insanely quick. You know, when you have that cracked lightning, when you have just a discharge of potential. Look at all the free energy there. I mean, if you look at what's going on down in Venezuela, that place where it's like 300 days out of the year,
It's
massive
around the
lightning
lake
storms.
where they get all the oil from. And actually, they have these fantastic metal deposits all around there. I studied places in the world that had the most ball lightning, and that's one of them. And almost the most lightning strikes on Earth.
Can you imagine if you took created some kind of a supercapacitor there
Yeah.
to harness that and route it? You know, talk about free energy.
Yeah, there's
But the key thing with Walt Jenkins there was he saw that, he observed what was going on there, and from that he evolved his technology and the simplicity of using milliamps to create horsepower. You know, as opposed to using 40 or 50 amps for a 20% gain benefit on a booster system burning your original nasty fossil fuel. Yeah, so if we kill the cameras, I'll show you something interesting.
Okay, let's do that.
And look at this. This is an indication that once you're in the hydrogen field, there's no escape. There's no escape because someone's always going to be demanding something. And this is a little test unit. We made a unit that's been sent, and it's been in route basically for years for the island of Kiribati in the South Pacific. This little atoll down there. And we made a unit, big old 5-foot tall unit with water distillers and everything built into it, so it's completely self-operational and autonomous and automatic. We sent them that, but the guy that's the manager of the facility says, I want a little tabletop unit. So make this for a little, 5 or 10 horsepower device. So this is a booster for that. So this is in its final conditioning stage, and that'll be going next week to a long trip past Fiji. But no escape for us in the field. And here you can see this is one of those. This is a small modulator, but it allows you to completely control and produce. So with this device here, it's it go up to you can boost something up to about 40 or 50 horsepower.
Cool.
Not that you're making it do 40 with a 40 or 50 horsepower engine.
All right, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the tour of Ed's workshop, what we could show there. Stay tuned, there's going to be much more content like this. Remember, if you haven't checked out the interview with Ed, go back and watch that now. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.